He that the Son set free is free indeed. Freedom, saith the Lord. Freedom, singing about freedom. Oh, freedom, saith the Lord. Give me your freedom. I'm singing about freedom. Oh, freedom. Jesus was born in Bethlehem. He had a manger for a crib.
That tears in our eyes and going together to sing it, but we still decided to sing it. We shall overcome. No, before this victory's won, some will have to get thrown in jail some more, but we shall overcome. Don't worry about us. Before the victory's won, some of us will lose jobs, but we shall overcome. Before the victory's won, even some will have to face physical death. Physical death is the price that some must pay to free their children from a permanent psychological death. Then nothing shall be more redemptive. We shall overcome. Before the victory's won, some will be misunderstood and called bad names and dismissed as rabble-rousers and agitators, but we shall overcome. And I'll tell you why. We shall overcome because the arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends toward justice. We shall overcome because Carlyle is right. No lie can live forever. We shall overcome because William Cullen Bryant is right. Truth crushed to earth will rise again. We shall overcome because James Russell Lord is right. Truth forever on the scaffold, wrong forever on the throne. Yet that scaffold sways the future. Behind the dim unknown standeth God within the shadows, keeping watch above his own. We shall overcome because the Bible is right. You shall reap what you sow. We shall overcome. Deep in my heart, I do believe we shall overcome. With this faith, we will go out and adjourn the councils of despair. Bring new light into the dark chambers of pessimism. We will be able to rise from the fatigue of despair to the buoyancy of hope. And this will be a great America. We will be the participants in making it so. So as I leave you this evening, I say, watch together, children. Don't you get weary. There's a great camp meeting in the morning.
We'd like to welcome you to another segment of the Grant Brothers Bluff City Report. As you just heard, freedom. And we are committed to playing that song at the beginning of every telecast that we have on this particular network. As you know, the Bluff City Report is powered by the Greater Memphis Democratic Club to bring to you current information, current events, things that are happening in Memphis, Tennessee. And we're awfully happy to be a part of Tamara's production TV network. And it has proven to be an outstanding station for us to be on. Many hundreds of thousands of people are getting a chance to hear our views and what we think Memphis needs to look like in the coming years. As we promised in our last segment, that we're going to bring to you our brother who wrote that song, Freedom. And he's here with us tonight in the studio. But before I go any further, I want to introduce the co-host, Alonzo Grant, my other brother, and he's been on the set with us each and every time. So we're going to bring our brother, Mr. Marvin Grant, who is the author, the singer, the composer of Freedom. Let's give him a hand.
How you doing, Marvin?
What's going on, brother?
What's going on? Good to see you.
Good to see you.
All right.
Well, we invited you on the show tonight so you can tell us about Freedom and how that song was inspired, because it has inspired us over the years, and every time I hear it, I get renewed. Tell us about Freedom and how it came about.
Freedom is a song that I wrote about 85.
Yeah.
1985. You know, I'm a songwriter. As always, so y'all know I'm a little bit under the weather today.
Yeah.
As usual.
Yeah.
But anyway, I just felt that we needed to come up with some kind of anthem, you know, that would be fitting for the people. Something that I believe that people would really enjoy hearing. So it's a long story, but we really don't have time to tell the whole story. But I just wanted to do it in brief, and freedom is really like kind of my baby. Mm-hmm. It took me a while to write it, and I was really amazed the effect that it had on many people and where it went. And Leonard Williams of the Williams Brothers re-recorded it. We had a couple other people that want to record it, so it's done well. Mm-hmm. It's done well.
Well, I, for one, have always enjoyed the song. And when you wrote that song, it came at a time when I really needed it. Mm-hmm. And it brought me out of what I was involved in terms of giving me a fresh look at life, opening up my eyes, and releasing the shackles off of me, because it set me free. Mm-hmm. And I personally want to thank you for it. What do you think about that?
Well, freedom does for me, as you guys both know, we had another brother, Anthony, that got killed in a car accident. And that was in 1980. So when Marvin wrote the Freedom song, was really the first time that I personally dealt with the tragedy of our brother's death. I mean, up until that time, as Greg mentioned a second ago, it kind of broke the shackles off of me for being able to deal with his untimely death, because he was only 17, 18 years old when he was in an car accident by a drunk driver. So from the time that he passed up until the time that Marvin wrote Freedom, that was the time that I was really able to deal with his passing. Wow.
That's new. I never knew that. You never told me.
Well, I never talked about it.
Okay.
Okay, that makes sense.
Okay.
Because sometimes people have things bottled up inside, and that's what you experienced.
Exactly.
And the song set you free.
Exactly. Set me free.
So you need to write him a check.
Yeah, I need a check.
A check.
Yeah.
Want to thank Marvin for being on. At the close of the show, we're going to play Drummer Boy, a rendition of one of the favorite songs around Christmas time. And he's going to close the show out with that particular rendition that he has. And I'm sure you're going to enjoy Drummer Boy just as much as you have enjoyed Freedom.
Because
and you know, on Drummer Boy, we did it with a group of kids from ages 7 to 11. Mm-hmm. My boys were little kids at the time. They're grown men now. But we did that with, and that's been 25, 30 years ago.
Yeah.
So it's been a long time.
And this is our Christmas show.
Yeah. Right. And Merry Christmas to you.
It's a present or something, man.
Yeah. We'll send you a check.
Yeah, do that.
A royalty check.
Yeah.
Check in the mail.
With interest.
Yeah. All right, thanks for joining us on the set. We'll see you at the close of the show.
Okay.
Thank you much.
Thank you, Marvin.
Fine.
And of course, you know, in our last segment, we left off talking about quite a few things about what has been happening in Memphis. And the biggest thing that's happening in Memphis today is 215 homicides. And that number is climbing on a daily basis. So Alonzo, what do you think is attributing to all the violence that we're having in the city?
Well, as we discussed on our last show, and I think I brought up the point of economics, and I remember saying that the economics were probably about 60, 65, 70% of our problems. But the other day, just Sunday, I was at home and I got a text from a friend of mine in New Jersey. And it was a text with a song in it. And it was a song by the Mississippi Mass Choir. And the song went like, no matter what the problem is, God can pull you through. And I thought about it after I listened to it. I said, well, you know, probably our other 35–40% of our problems in this city, in the black community, is that we've forgotten from whence we've come. And we as a people, we have to know that life is bigger than us. And we have to have something bigger than ourselves to believe in. And a lot of this stuff is stemming from when it gets past us, it's spiraling out of control. When we can't handle it, then we've lost our way. We've turned our back on the God that's bigger than us. And we feel like that we can handle these things, and we can't.
Well, how important is Christianity in the life of a child? How important was Christianity to you as you grew up? And did your belief restrain you from doing certain things that we see young people doing today?
Absolutely. You remember when we were kids and we grew up in the Christendom world, and when we walked past the church, and if we had a jukebox playing, we would physically turn it off.
Now, Marvin used to do that all the time.
Yeah.
He'd drive past the church and he had his music going on loud. If it wasn't gospel, he'd always turn the music down.
Right.
He respected the sanctity of the church.
And that tells me that we believed in something bigger than us to respect.
Well, what's happening to the belief system or a non-belief system that young people are having today?
Well, young people today, they tend to think that it doesn't work for them anymore because they don't get immediately what they think they want. Well, the belief system is not about getting everything you want. The belief system is really about casting your cares on something that's bigger than you. When it's out of control for you and you can't handle it, you got to have an apparatus to let it go. And you may not get what you want, but you don't have to deal with the pressures of what it is that you're trying to get. I mean, if we're dealing and talking about God, then the answer doesn't always come back yes. But then you have a bigger person than you to release. And so I think that's where the breakdown is, because we don't get what we think we ought to get, then we say, well, it doesn't work, forget about it.
Well, obviously we have laws on the books, and our children, children's and their friends are being affected every day by the laws that we have on the book. What kind of advice would you give to parents? I mean, these children, they're not children, a lot of them are adults. They belong to somebody.
They belong to somebody.
What kind of advice, if you can't save that particular child, what advice would you give to the parent of the child?
Well, I will go something like this. I've listened to a passage about Dr. King over and over and over again for the last 15, 20 years. And Dr. King said that he was in Montgomery during the bus boycott. And he got a call. He said it was a nasty, dirty, ugly call, one that he'd never heard before. And he was sitting at the table, drinking a cup of coffee. He fixed him some coffee, and he thought maybe the coffee would calm his nerves down because it rattled him so bad. And then he said, well, maybe I could call my mom. And then another thought came. He said, well, maybe I can call my daddy down in Atlanta. And then he said that the power came over and said, well, your mama and your daddy can't fix it. Okay, you got to have a power greater than mama and daddy to be able to release this stress. And in answer to your question is that we got to get our kids back into the belief system while they're young. You can't wait till they get 25, 30 years old and try to put a belief in them that they don't believe to start with. I remember when I used to drive on the road a lot. And we went to church and got beliefs put up in us long ago. And I was driving down in Louisiana, and it was raining like never before that I've seen. And it came a point where all the skills that I thought I had, all the power that I thought I had over the equipment, it evaporated. And I remember just throwing up my hands because I couldn't see the highway, I couldn't see it. I said, Lord, I can't do it, you fix it. I was able, based on what we had been taught, to go back and put the trust in his hands. So we gotta teach this stuff young. And the 8-year-olds, the 7-year-olds, the 10 years old, we gotta start all over again. You know, and that's not to say that we don't care about the 18s and the 20s, but you got to start somewhere. And if it means starting from the bottom, then we got to work our way up.
Okay, I believe that because we see our children today and the folks in this community are spiraling out of control. And we've got to have a belief system. We got to go back to the old landmark. Along with what the city and the government is doing, we've got to reinstitute our relationship with the Lord. We got to reinstitute good home training. All of that is very, very important because without good home training and a person doesn't have any kinds of religious values to help control their behavior,
Correct.
It's going to be a city and a nation totally out of control. And that's kind of where we're headed today.
That's right. I mean, you have to have conscientious values instilled in you. So back in our time, if we had the values put in us, and even today, I would think it would just be an absolute abomination for me to walk up and blow somebody's brains out.
Wow.
My conscious mind would say, that's not right.
Wouldn't let you do it.
Wouldn't let you do it. But what we're dealing with today, the conscious mind is not there anymore. So you can't get something out of nothing. So it's okay for a kid to go and blow your brains out for a $5 pair of tennis shoes or a $25 pair of tennis shoes because the conscientious mind does not restrain you. And that's part of our problem.
And we'll also have to give our current mayor, Jim Strickland, credit for at least going to the community with the Memphis 3.0 plan.
Correct.
Talking to citizens about what they believe, how they believe, something that should have been happening years and years ago. At least getting buy-in from the community to say what's on their mind.
Correct.
Taking that, putting it together, coming out with a comprehensive plan as to how to address some of the ills of the city of Memphis. Too long, we have lawmakers sitting in their ivory towers making a plan up without incorporating what the citizens believe.
Correct.
And I believe that the Memphis 3.0 plan will be very successful if the citizens would join in and be a part of it. But we yet still have to go back to the point of origination and don't forget about putting God in our lives.
Correct. And I believe that God and government is like a 50-50 arrangement. It's not the total responsibility of the city to take care of us.
True.
I mean, we have to meet them halfway with our morals and our convictions and what we believe in.
Right.
I mean, the city, if they poured $100 million in any community, that wouldn't just solve the problem. We got to meet.
But
we
then-
got some stuff we have to do.
But the city has to be more creative in their approach in trying to get control over the city. Not just put all their confidence and faith in the police department,
Correct.
or as they would say, more boots on the ground. The city needs to empower neighborhood associations,
Correct.
community development associations. They need to empower grassroots not-for-profits along with churches and put money behind them. They come with a plan. Remember back in the old days when we were kids, they had paint up, fix up, clean up week. The whole city, everybody painted, everybody fixed up. Kids went out and picked litter up off the ground, found the nearest trash basket and put it in. I see people riding down the street today, throw whole boxes of chicken wings out the window, or bottles and cans, just throw them out the window while they're driving down the street.
And you're right.
And we have no pride.
We have no pride.
Poverty and people who are poverty stricken. You become a product of your environment. And if it's not anybody there to teach you right from wrong, you're going to grow up thinking that's the right thing to do.
And you're exactly right, because when we were kids and they empowered communities, something you would think as small as a community center. Well, a community center was more than about basketball.
It really was.
I mean,
Arts and crafts.
Arts and crafts. And the main thing was people knew you.
Right.
I mean, you would have people in place. And we could go to the community center if something was wrong there. If you was acting out of place, those people that knew you would say, Greg, what's wrong? Is something going on at home? You hungry? You got any food? People would get in their cars and take you home.
That's right.
And find out what the problem was.
Right.
Because you had empowered communities.
Absolutely. And in those community centers, they teach you etiquette. How many people today really know how to eat with the proper utensils? I've seen people eat spaghetti with a spoon. We know that's wrong.
True. We know it's wrong.
That's wrong.
We know it's wrong.
But if it's not anybody there to teach them etiquette, that you have a dinner fork and you have a salad fork, which one's the salad fork? Which one's the dinner fork? What is a spoon for? You don't eat everything at the table with a spoon.
And all that stuff becomes important. It may sound small, but all of that stuff down the line can cause problems.
And we got to
Say,
get
for
back
instance,
to it.
if you're out at a restaurant
Okay.
and you're eating spaghetti with a spoon, and somebody over to the right of you knows that you shouldn't eat spaghetti with a spoon, and they laugh at you,
Right.
then you're mad.
Okay.
And you cause a problem and may tear the whole restaurant up.
Okay.
Or shoot somebody.
Because nobody taught you
etiquette.
table etiquette and
Correct.
how to eat properly,
Exactly.
etc. So these are some of the things we've got to get back. We've got to get back to it. We've got to get parents teaching their kids. We've got to get our parents putting our kids in school, making sure that they're being schooled properly. And whenever activities are going on in the community centers and activities are going on in the churches, we've got to start sending our children back to get a solid foundation. And we're missing that. And when the kid grows up without a solid foundation, go through elementary school without a solid foundation, talking about with the teacher and having problems, disciplinary problems, and the next thing you know, your kid is in an alternative school, and it just snowballs and snowballs and snowballs until when that kid turns 18, 20, 21, as you said, his life is an accumulation of his personal life experiences.
Correct.
And that's who he or she
She
is. And that's what we've got to deal with. So we haven't been able to instill the proper training because we've gotten away from it. And we've got to get back to training our kids.
100% in agreement.
We certainly want to thank you for joining us. On next week, and by the time you see this telecast, it'll be pretty close to Christmas.
We'll probably be 3 or 4 days away from Christmas
Uh-huh.
by the time this airs.
Well, do you want to wish our listening public and viewing public a Merry Christmas?
I'd like to wish everyone a Merry Christmas, and for sure we're going to have a better and prosperous New Year. And 2017 is going to be a great and different year for the citizens of the Bluff City. And this show is going to spearhead our new direction.
And
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, and on any given Sunday, it's the Grant Brothers Bluff City Report. we're going to leave you with Marvin Grant's rendition of The Little Drummer Boy.
Come, they told me, a newborn king.
We're good.
Well, we're going to get to the Little Drummer Boy. I think he came unplugged.
We need to get the Little Drummer Boy and just kind of beat him down.
Yeah.
So,
But it's going to be all right.
We're going to try it again. That's the beauty of technology. You can always redo it.
And here we go.
Come, they told